He has two. He's using two names of folks who actually come here from time to time. Let me.
We've written about Tony Green, so we're familiar with him.
By the Guardian, you know?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was so bad.
It was so far.
He was so far ahead.
No, he made Zionism, Nazism analogies. I mean, he's way off the charts.
That's one, but what about the Roses? Are they involved in that? Jacqueline and whatever the other.
Oh, I don't know. They're more an academic boycott than.
Christopher Osman.
Never heard of him.
You might want to look him
What
up.
about
It's
Ben
Osman and Jessica Nero. Nero.
Those are new names.
And they're Jewish?
No, they're not.
No.
But they did the lock-on at the Ahava store in Covent Garden.
Right.
So they locked themselves, they chained themselves there and all that stuff. That's what I heard. They were in court 3 times, and also with the Caterpillar, there was some Caterpillar boycott.
Yeah.
Because they did business in Israel.
Over the Rachel Corrie.
And also a flour blockade.
Flour blockade.
They tried to boycott Israeli flowers or something. I don't know. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just know that Tony is leading the anti-SodaStream campaign in Brighton. We have a store in Brighton. Toda Rabah. We have a store in Brighton where innocently or naively we thought Brighton would be a really good place for us to put an ecological store.
Right.
Something we call EcoStream, where consumers can bring their packaging back for detergents or olive oil or whatever, and of course soda packaging, and buy new product in that old packaging. So you save the packaging, reuse the packaging.
Okay.
That's the concept. It's the refill store, and we have all kinds of exciting products in that store. Really, really great stuff. Balsamic vinegar and oil from all over the world, and even grains.
That's what EcoStream is.
That's what EcoStream is.
No, I've seen that. Okay.
And we chose Brighton because Brighton is my understanding was at the time that it was the only municipality that had a representative from the Green Party in the parliament. So we said, this is a green community, they're going to get it.
Green anti-Israel.
Good place to test this concept. It's a new concept for us. We're doing one store, and instead of focusing on green, all they're doing is focusing on the West Bank. We have demonstrations outside of the store every Wednesday and Saturday. And until recently, the pro-Israeli folks were not actively demonstrating, and we did not encourage their demonstrations because we did not want a physical conflict, and we did not want to draw the media because it's very difficult to explain to the media what's really going on. We are demonized by just by any superficial observation. So it's kind of tough to win this battle unless people take the time to really understand what's really going on. So we didn't want the conflict, the physical conflict outside of the store. But recently the Jewish community, and it's not only Jewish, we have very strong supporters among the Christian community in Brighton. They're counter-demonstrating now, so every week it's on Saturday when the Orthodox will not come. So they're doing it on Saturday is when the real strong demonstration is. And the police are there. And sometimes it gets violent, and there have been arrests.
What are the numbers, pro-Israel versus?
Not many. I think it's between 30 and 50 on each side.
Okay. And has the media been there? Because I haven't seen too much in the Guardian about.
No, the media has not. Argus is the local newspaper in Brighton. They've covered it. They even sent a journalist to visit our factory, but he told the story, but kind of in a shy way, because the story is so incredible.
Yeah.
What's going on? Actually, even the pro-Palestinians should be supporting SodaStream. As I see it, we're doing stuff that we're helping the Palestinians, and they just don't want to see that. They really want to see how they can demonize Israel and continue to reinforce their rhetoric that the settlements are the obstacle to peace.
Right,
I mean, that's basically their rhetoric. The settlements are the obstacle to peace, and the manufacturing in the West Bank is what's sustaining the settlements. And all that is bullshit. It's a bunch of crap, because we know that the settlements have no industry. The settlements are dormitory towns or whatnot. People don't work in the settlements. They work in Israel. And we also know that of the industry that's going on in the settlements, most of those who work there are Palestinians and not the settlers. So we do not sustain the settlers, we sustain the Palestinians. and one day there'll be peace, and we will be the seeds of the Palestinian economy. So
That's a great line.
We say it, no one cares.
Yeah.
We are the largest employer of Palestinians outside the PA. We employ 550 Palestinians in our facility in Mishor Adumim. We're employing as many of them as possible, by the way. 5 years ago, we employed 0. As a matter of principle, the guy who was running SodaStream before me was a right-wing mitnachel, a settler himself, and he bought that facility, by the way. We didn't build it. I didn't choose to be there. I would never have chosen to be there. I inherited this facility. That's also something we're accused of. Why did you choose to be
I have a
in
question
that
about
location?
that. Yeah.
I didn't. I came here 6 years ago with new ownership of this company. It was a buyout. It was a private equity buyout. And suddenly I found myself with a factory in the West Bank. What do you do? So I said, okay, the first thing I can do is start employing local residents and give the Bedouins and the Palestinians an opportunity to sustain themselves. And then we did that, and then we realized that those guys don't really have much health insurance because the Social Security we pay them goes to the PA. You know that agreement, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know what the PA is doing with it, but we know that there's not health services in the West Bank. If a Palestinian needs surgery or, God forbid, an organ transplant.
Well, there's the PA Ministry of Health, but I guess it's
the level of care is horrible. They get mercy treatment from Israeli hospitals when they need it, or they die. Okay.
Sure.
I'm also helping to fund a beautiful project called Hearts for Peace. Have you heard that in Hadassah Ein Karim? There's an Orthodox Jewish doctor. The Orthodox doctor, he's French, who set up this, and he's a pediatric heart surgeon himself. And there's a pediatric heart department that does heart transplants and all kinds of very advanced procedures in Hadassah Ein Karim. He set up a fund or some kind of an operation there that is funded half by Hadassah and half by donations. Okay. So SodaStream contributes to that activity, and the purpose of that fund is to pay for surgery for Palestinian kids who are brought in from the PA and there's no heart surgery for children in the West Bank, period. There's no Palestinian hospital that knows how to do that. So if ever there's a problem, then they come to Hadassah Ein Karim. While I was there last time, 8 months ago, they were training a Palestinian doctor to set up a facility, I can't remember if it was in Hebron or Ramallah, that can give local services. So it'll be more accessible for the Palestinian kids, because some of them will die on the way. Or getting the paperwork done.
Right.
Okay? But I know that the health, I was concerned that my 550 employees don't have good health. At the time it was not 550, we built up to it.
Sure.
We started with 0, now we're at 550. And then on top of that we have about 250 Israeli Arabs. They don't love each other, the Israeli Arabs and the Palestinians.
Okay.
And then we have another 350 or so Jews. Many Russian immigrants, some Orthodox Jews who've been around.
At that facility.
At that one facility.
Yeah,
They all work
MLA,
together. It's unbelievable.
Okay, but let me ask you a question, because this is prompted. There was an article, I don't know if you saw it a couple of days ago, in the London Times, in the Times of London.
Sure, I heard about
Okay, so one of the claims made by the journalist, who I'm not familiar with, we don't usually follow the Times, but this caught my eye. She said that you pay Palestinian workers a lot less than you would pay Israeli workers. So my question is, since you have both Israeli... Okay, but since you have both Israeli Jews and Palestinians and Arab Israelis at the same factory, the same plant, is there any pay disparity between?
No, that's one of the lies that you're going to get.
Okay.
Let me get one of the Arabs on the line, and he'll answer that. How's that?
Yes.
You can quote someone. No, we're so taking care of these people in every respect.
Okay.
The pay scale is the same pay. You have
Jew
to.
and Palestinians.
Of course,
Israel.
We abide by the Israeli labor law. We have to. It's not only pay scale; it's also terms, how benefits and how often, how many hours you can work in a week, and all those things. It's a very strict labor law, which does not do good for factory workers, by the way, because factory workers do want to work overtime, because they get paid 150%, and they want to do weekends, because on weekends overtime is 225%. So they want to, but sometimes the labor law is really restrictive of that. But we have to abide. So we're trying to do the best thing for the worker and still be legal, and we are legal.
Okay.
But there's no disparity. What is it?
Pay disparity.
There's no pay disparity between a Jew and a Palestinian.
Right, that's what the Times claims. So
it's a lie. That's a lie.
Okay.
It's not incorrect. It's a lie.
Okay. Can I get you on camera saying that? We brought
absolutely.
A video
of course. There are many lies.
So I want to fish that. No, but that's one particular line in one story that it helps when we have a specific answer to a claim that that's not true.
It's
Okay.
nonsense.
Rather than just
You don't
we-
mind? I mean, seriously.
No, I don't mind at all. No, we are proud of the truth that we're doing.
Because
So where do you think that lie came from? The BDS folks? Like, where do you
course.
think?
Of course, there are many lies.
Okay.
There's a lie that we're not paying equal pay for Palestinians and Israelis. There's the lie. It has the background on my desk. That's pretty awful.
it's all right as long as there's
Okay.
whatever.
Have you seen the video? That
I
we
did. It was a
Okay.
fantastic
It's
video. I
a
was
true
gonna ask you-
video. There's nothing.
It's a
not
fantastic
rhetoric.
video.
There's no rhetoric.
Right. Okay. I was going to ask you about that.
Okay. So among the there's several lies that are told about SodaStream.
Sorry, I keep doing the wrong thing.
Okay. I'll wait.
Okay.
Trying to focus. Oh, there we go.
So let me know when you're.
Completely opposite of what you just said. I
So-
mean, you need to read that up.
Did they
I need
did
to
they
read
not
it.
use the statement at all?
Was this by Dan Grossman?
by a woman.
No, so it's a different. I didn't
Okay.
see this
Okay.
article.
Okay.
Well,
Then there was another article then
Right.
Yeah.
by the Times.
Yeah.
The Times of London, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Two articles.
Yeah,
like
well,
in
of course,
same
the
day?
one who wrote it may, might be like Harriet Sheward. Anyway, so I have a question based on that. You said that you could get someone, an Arab from the factory.
Mhm.
I think it might be interesting to have that recorded if the person doesn't mind. He doesn't have to give his name, but just be interesting to have that person talking on camera.
But how can that?
So
But here's the problem: that person can't know how much the Jew makes. In other words, an employee doesn't know how much other employees
I
make.
have. There's an Arab. Just so you understand.
Yeah.
The hierarchy. We have Palestinians who are department heads.
Oh,
Within
supervising.
their department, there's Jews and Israeli Arabs.
That's
That's really cool.
Okay.
The way to understand that, and you can come visit the factory and meet these people and see them in work and take clips and whatnot. You can be my guest, okay? But the factory is in Mishor Adumim, so
Right,
it's an
right.
hour away from here. But if you want to go there, fine. There's a guy whose name is Barhom Muhammad. He's an Israeli Arab, and he is responsible for about 500 people. In fact, most of the Palestinians are under him, not all of them. And then he also has Jews and Arabs and Druze and whatever. I think a few Darfurians also. And Barhom is responsible for the department of assembly and sub-assembly in the factory. You can imagine that since the Palestinians come without any skill, they end up doing the assembly work.
Right.
Okay, and then the ones who are really good, we train them for other areas. So they go and they start. They're metal operators and machine operators, and that's where we develop their skills. But anyway, you can talk to Barhom. He's an Israeli and he manages most of the Palestinians. Just ask him, how do we pay the Palestinians? I'm telling you how we pay these Palestinians. They're millionaires. They buy a house in 1 year. They buy a house. By the way, it was in that tape. One of the guys, his kid Yusuf.
Yeah.
He says, I have a house. Nobody has a house. I have a house. 1 year I work so that I have a house. I mean, some of them are so stupid that they don't understand the controversy that they are all about. Okay, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't read the papers.
They don't read about BDS.
They don't know
Yeah,
that there's a world out there that wants us to shut the factory down and
Take the
fire
jobs
us.
away.
Yeah, they don't know. So they give. So they'll be very honest in many of their answers. Okay, some of them.
Okay.
Some of them are more sophisticated and they're careful.
Okay.
But this kid who was in that video said, I bought this house in 1 year. He built a house in 1 year working. He's 21 years old. He has a house. Okay, and he bought land from working. And there's one town. It's a refugee town called Jabba Ramallah. Jabba. It's next to Ramallah. It's called Jabba. Jabba. It's a Mahane Plitim. It's a refugee camp. We have 100 families from Jabba. Jabba are building, and I heard this through the grapevine, through them. I don't know how true it is, but I'm going to find out. They're building a municipal swimming pool funded by my people. Okay?
Yeah.
Because the people who work at SodaStream are the ones who have the money, and together they're getting together and they're building a swimming pool for the community. Okay?
Remarkable.
So I want to chip in as well, personally.
Yeah, of
or
course.
What is it?
Of course.
But
So let me ask you this: if there was a peace agreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians tomorrow, and for whatever reason Ma'ale Adumim fell into the hands of the new Palestinian state,
Well, Ma'ale Adumim would not. The question is because Ma'ale Adumim, there's no way it would. Ma'ale Adumim and Ariel are outside of that, but there'll be the territory swap. But we're in Mishor Adumim.
Oh, okay.
We're in the industrial area which is a little
Okay.
farther,
Okay.
and that could. It's Area C. We don't know what's going to happen.
But what would happen to
Hang on, so
SodaStream? What would happen to the factory if it did fall into the hands of the Palestinian Authority?
Fine. We have factories in China, and we have factories
Yeah.
in a lot of areas that are not under Israeli control.
Okay.
So
So
that
you
would-
would stay put.
Of course.
Okay.
If I could. Now,
Yeah.
if it's too risky or not
That's- well,
practical,
that's what I'm
then
getting
I'll
at.
get the hell out
Okay.
of there. I
Well,
don't care.
okay.
that was-
We have 22 factories. I don't need that factory.
Okay.
I think
Okay,
one of our
but there's no-
questions
yeah.
was if the BDS campaign succeeded, in this particular instance, wouldn't you just offshore or just bring into Israel the manufacturing, and that would be the end of 500
Sure,
jobs?
and I would try to get them the jobs here, by the way. We're building a factory in Lehavim. So, and a very big factory, 4 times the size as the one that's
Really?
in Mishar Adumim. Yeah, it's probably the biggest industrial project in Israel today.
Wow. Okay.
It's a 100 dunam
Just by
factory.
the train station here or something like that?
In Lehavim, yes. You know where Tzomet Lehavim is?
Yeah.
Rahat is one way
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Lehavim is the other?
Yeah.
Right there.
That's,
a little bit
stay
north
on
of
the
that.
road,
You can
just
actually
down the road.
see, when you're driving down
Mhm.
south, look to your
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
You'll see construction going on.
Okay.
Soon there'll be a sign, SodaStream is coming or something
Mhm.
like that. That factory is going to be starting to produce in 3 months.
Mhm.
So if we in stages, not all of them, not everything. Just, if we want to, we can move the work from Mishar Adumim to that factory,
Right.
and the
And
deal is
close it
done.
down, yeah.
But if that happens, I'll try to get work permits for the Palestinian folks. It's like an hour each way, incremental
Right,
train, maybe an hour and a
buses or
quarter,
something.
maybe an hour and a quarter. So it's not that efficient. I'd rather not do that
Right.
because I'd rather give employment in the new factory to the Bedouins in Rahat, where there's a terrible unemployment
Right.
problem
Right.
as well, and leave the folks to work in Mishar Adumim and not send employment to China.
Could you employ Bedouin women there?
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
plan. We also employ Palestinian women,
Yeah.
which is very unusual.
I think that's really important to stress.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
you know, all these people with their thing, and the fact that you're employing women is actually very
I'll
important.
tell you, we are so beseder. We are so doing the right thing. I'm so at peace. The thing is that they're trying to villainize us because of their cause. And what exactly is their cause? Other than bashing Israel, those of them who are more intellectual and truly trying to find a solution and help find a solution, they truly, truly believe that the settlements are a barrier to peace. They
Yeah.
really believe that.
Yeah.
They really believe that. And at the moment there will be no settlements, then peace is easy. Okay, and that's, in my opinion, that's wrong. Okay, because there
I
could be
think it-
peace with the settlements, and it's not about the settlements.
I would argue you're giving them more credit than it's due. I think that the BDS is step one in trying to actually get to a point where Israel has no right to exist, and this is just like one step along
Sure.
the road to that. So
Of course.
it's more than.
Plus, what you're doing is
settlements.
real
It's
peace and
seriously.
what you're doing is real coexistence on the ground,
Right.
coexistence on the ground,
This is
breaking
peace.
down barriers.
This
This is
is
peace.
peace. And
The
it's,
real nitty gritty work of peace.
It is. 'Cause
It's not
in
on
the end-
paper,
in the
it's among
end,
people.
Even in the end, there will be peace, and the peace will be, and we'll have to learn how to live together.
Mhm.
We will have to learn how to live together, Jews and Arabs, in
Mhm.
this neighborhood. That's life.
Right.
Right.
And what we're doing is we're living together, and people don't have much of an opportunity in both communities, in the Jewish community and in the Palestinian community, to interact with the other, because to Palestinians, almost every Jew is the guard, the Mishmar Gvul guy at the post at the barrier,
Yeah.
who will humiliate, and they do, unfortunately. And every Jew is a settler whom they hate. And for the Jews, every Palestinian is a potential terrorist. So that's how we think about each other. We grow up with that through our mother's milk. That's what we get. We don't trust. And here they work together, they produce together, they eat together, we dance together, we celebrate holidays. When they do the Eid al-Fitr at the end of Ramadan, they do a big we do for them a big celebration. Jews join and we're all dancing together. And when we light Hanukkah candles, they come.
Do you have any of that on tape?
Yeah, we do.
I mean, outside of the videos, I saw that one video. But you have
We
other,
do, but
other
everyone's
clips
going
of
to
that?
say it's
It's
fake.
staged. Yeah.
In fact, it was really interesting. It was last year in August, late August, I remember, because my son's bar mitzvah was that day in the Kotel. We had a crew from Australian TV, by the way, and it ended up going to Al Jazeera. This thing was all over the place. I have the tape. I got it from them. And the crew was here, and they happened to have visited us, and we accepted a visit to the factory on the day of the end of the Ramadan, which is the Eid al-Fitr, okay, the beginning of the 3-day festival. And my son's bar mitzvah was that day. So I said, hey guys, if you really want to, if you're here today, you're invited to the Kotel, and you can see how, what the West Bank, what the Kotel means to a Jewish family, a son of a Holocaust survivor. So you're welcome to be there. Just don't interrupt. But they did. They had a cameraman, and we're reading from the Torah and everything. I come from a conservadox family.
Okay.
So they got some of that, and then we went to the factory. We did the interview and the tour, and then I said, guys, there's a party here in the evening. You're welcome to come and see everybody dancing together. The party was not for them. It was planned well before they came. The DJ and all the Palestinians are looking forward to it because it's a tradition. We do it every year. And they came, and it's such a happy festival. You know, they pick me up, and I'm, you know, they know how to dance, they know how to party, and it was crazy, it was wild, and they're doing flip flops and handstands and all kinds of stuff, and they're dancing to Israeli music, the Palestinians. First, we start with a meal because they were fasting all day, so we start with a meal, and then half an hour after the meal, the music starts, and it's a crazy party. And what did the bastard journalist who was moderating this thing and showing it? He had to put in the comment that it felt staged. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, that's the
I
way.
believe it, I believe it.
They'll never
Right.
believe anything.
Right.
They'll
Yeah.
just there's nothing to tell them that they'll believe.
That's
But
remarkable.
we
Well,
know the truth. We
And when
know.
Palestinian stage events, they're completely, you know,
Yeah.
they completely
Yeah.
fall for that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've had, we didn't give you much background, but there's a group of us, a very small group of about six or seven of us, who kind of stumbled on The Guardian 6 or 7 years ago, basically. And we were just shocked by what was appearing there. I mean, it was like reading, you know, it's like you're talking about. It's like,
Anti-Israeli
this is
rhetoric.
what's really happening, and then there's the story that appears in The Guardian or something. Adam now works under the auspices of CAMERA, which you may have heard of. It's the group there which tries to correct misrepresentation.
U.S.-based organization,
in-
Committee
in
for
the-
Accuracy in Middle East Reporting in America. You've
Right.
seen them, or are you familiar
They
with
try
them?
and correct
Okay.
incorrect information that appears in places like New York Times and Washington Post and so forth, in National Public
Mhm.
Radio and so on. And we've been actually quite successful in taming down The Guardian. It's not great at all. It's not
Mhm.
good even. But you talk about Tony Green. I mean, Tony Greenspan used to write for them. Okay, about Israel.
Mhm.
Okay, and Zionism. They have people like Ben White, who is a vicious anti-Semite. He looks like a Hitler, I
Really?
mean, and he acts like one. And they had a whole stream of Jews who would write, and it was what we started calling the as a Jew complex. That's right. I grew up in a family that had no connection with Judaism or Zionism, and I was never interested in Israel. But I now find that as a Jew, I have to object to everything that's going
Right,
on here.
right.
Okay, that kind of thing. And so Adam's writing
What's motivating
like 2
them?
or 3
What do you think is
articles a week
motivating
at
them?
least.
Well, wait. So he has some important. He said, "What's motivating them? You mean
Well,
the Jews or the non-Jews, or
Jews, the
just
Jews.
both?"
This false feeling of somehow this Jewish ethos has to be such that we shouldn't be oppressing these poor Palestinian people the way we are. And
So we hold ourselves to
and
the
then,
higher
then
standard.
it goes across, higher standard, and then it goes all the way across the spectrum to the only solution is that Israel basically vanishes, and we have a Palestinian state made up of Jews and Arabs all living together happily in what used to be Israel and the West Bank
Mhm.
and Gaza, I suppose. So you've got an extreme. I think a lot of these people are actually sort of naively well motivated. Some are just not. I mean, some
Mhm.
are not.
I think they're motivated by moral vanity. I mean, they want, you know, they see themselves through, you know, through other people, through non-Jews' eyes, and they want to be seen as virtuous. They want to be seen as progressive and liberal. And liberalism, progressivism in our day has come to be defined largely by your opposition to Zionism, and that's part of the package. So they want to be, you know, just like for generations. I mean, they want to be, you know, liked by non-Jews. And so this is a way of gaining acceptance into the club, into the progressive club.
In a way, actually, I think part of the problem is I think we need a new word instead of Zionism, to be honest. I mean, Israel exists. Okay, Zionism was great when there was no Israel.
Yeah.
You had to have Zion. But anyway, that's a whole different argument. But I think we have been fairly successful. The Guardian is the leader in the sort of English language press, although closely followed now by the New York Times, I'm afraid, of anti-Israeli sort of activity in the press.
Okay.
And I think we've been fairly successful in kind of taming it down. Adam actually gets corrections from them.
Yes, we're in contact with the editors and we get corrections. So actually, I'm going to try to get a correction on this Times story that we just mentioned.
What other lies did they have then?
Those were the
There's a
two
lot.
lies. I
What,
mean,
that we're underpaying the Palestinians and then what?
it framed it kind of
differential
carefully,
rates.
but it said that, you know, they would, if you had to pay Israelis, you'd pay them a lot less, implying that everybody who worked there was Palestinian and that they were employed specifically because their pay scale was less than Israelis. Yeah, and then it also said that the reason why you're located there is because of tax benefits given to companies that are located in the territories.
No, we get there are tax benefits. It's the same tax benefits you'd get if I was in the Negev or in the Galil.
Okay.
So there's preferential or developmental type of what's called Area Aleph.
But not specifically for.
No, there's nothing for
yeah.
the heritage. In fact, I have a penalty for being there, a financial. I have to pay a security surcharge. Fuck that. Sorry for my French.
Who do you pay
Really?
security? Oh, you
To
mean
the
to?
municipality of
Yeah.
Ma'ale-Adumim. We have a fight. It even hit. It was in the High Court.
Really?
We had a badatz. That, you see, no one writes about that. We have our own security on our premises.
Right.
Okay, it's a factory. We have a wall and cameras and security
Sure.
company that. But the municipality of Ma'ale-Adumim, who have municipal responsibility over the industrial zone, have a guard and a patrol going on there at night from time to time,
Right.
and they want money, and it's a lot of money. And we challenged it. We said, no, we don't want any of that protection. And that's incremental. We don't have to pay that in Tel Aviv or in Beersheba or anywhere like that.
Right.
That doesn't exist. And it went all the way to the High Court, and we lost
Oh,
last year. We won and lost. I don't know. It was like one of those rulings where it's not right, but you have to pay, but moving in for the retroactively, but moving forward, find a solution, that kind of.
Oh, I see. I understand. Let me ask you a big picture story. Long-term growth of SodaStream. You're obviously bullish on the long-term growth
Yeah.
success of the company. Do you see BDS as a tiny, nuisance?
We ignore the BDS.
Okay.
They don't exist.
But I'm saying, as far as your sales, as far as your long-term growth potential,
There's no risk here.
I mean, it's something you have to deal with occasionally, but it's nothing that
No.
really you're very excited on the
Look,
future.
I'll tell you, it's been going on for a long time,
Yeah.
and we've not lost one customer until now.
Okay.
Need to find out what's going on in Japan. But it's not an important customer, even if we lost it. Otherwise, we'd fight over it. We had a few retailers who threatened to stop working with us, and we had them come here and visit, and they understood that we're on the right side of righteousness,
Okay.
of justice and humanity. And in fact, we turned them into champions. I have examples of some retailers where that happened. We're not worried about the BDS. I mean, because at the end of the day, you have to look yourself in the mirror, and if you're doing the right thing, then you're good, and that's
Okay.
what we're doing.
Okay.
And if they give us some awareness, that's also good for business. And if they want to start boycotting us, then we'll bring in product from China, where human rights are just fantastic in China. I mean, you can get an organ you can get a liver or a heart from someone who was alive, and maybe who was sentenced to prison, but you can really get a good young heart over there. But if they prefer that we manufacture in China, then we can do that. We already have 2 factories in China,
Yeah.
so it's not a problem for us to shift sourcing.
I see.
It's just not right.
Okay.
It's wrong.
I think that's really important. I mean, to me, that's really important. That the fact is that you're there voluntarily.
For choice.
For choice.
Yeah, we're not fighting for the existence of our company, which is very different than Bagel and Multilock.
No, I mean, the impression is that the only plant you have is up in the
No.
shoulder. And I think that's something that we've really got to.
We have
Yeah.
We manufacture in 22 facilities in the world, different things,
Mhm.
machines. The soda makers themselves, what you see here, are made in China in 2 facilities, and in Alon Tavor in the Galil, okay, which is kosher for now, and in the West Bank, so in 4 facilities. But it's not a problem. And soon, and now in Lehavim, and the new one in Israel. So we're there for choice. We think we're doing the right thing for these people. It would be a disaster for them and their families if we were to terminate their employment. Terrible.
Yeah.
So let me get this guy on the phone, and you can
Yeah.
ask
Okay,
him
that'd be
some
great.
questions.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay,
you can
cool,
record
cool.
it, right? Adam?
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you want me
yeah,
to
yeah.
record it on the I mean, there won't be any video. I mean, you can record it.
I can record it on audio though.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I mean, I'm recording the whole thing.
Or home.
Well, if you can market through Walmart, although Walmart's having their problems now as well, just by the way.
They don't. Most of the sophisticated retailers in the world don't get excited about these because they get this every other day about manufacturing in different places in China.
No, Walmart's having this. Some big people are fed up with the low wages they pay. There's a lot of-
ברהום, מה שלומך? ואותך, אתה בסדר? כן. עוד 11 יום לרמדאן, על הכיפאק. תגיד, ברום, יש לך דקה בשבילי? אני יושב עם אנשים ורציתי שאתה תיתן פה איזה דיבור, תענה לשאלה שלהם. יש לך דקה? Okay, I'm moving on to English. So I'm putting you on speaker.
Does he speak English?
He does. Okay, Barhom.
Yes.
I'm sitting here with Alan and Adam, and these are friends of ours who are covering. Who they have a blog, and they're talking also about some of the lies that people are talking about SodaStream in the media around the world. One of the lies is that we're not taking good care of our Palestinian employees, for example. and that we're not paying them so well, and et cetera. But I'll let them ask, and you can tell them what you know. Just for background, Barhom, how many people work for you at SodaStream right now?
Right now, just at the assembly with the gathering, I have 600 people,
Okay.
600 employees.
How many of them would you say are Palestinians?
500, 520.
Okay, in your team. And the rest are what, Israeli Arabs and Jews?
Israel Arab, we have Druze, yes, we have also Christian Arab.
Okay.
We said Druze, but also Jews?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, and
So,
go ahead.
yes, Daniel. I'm just aware to hear that because I know that we pay all the salary for the Palestinian people, and we pay the health insurance. We give them all the conditions that the Israeli employee we give them. So I think, I don't know, it's a little to hear that because we don't have any differences between the Palestinian people, employees, and the Jewish employees because the law is the one law in Israel. So,
The labor law.
I don't know where.
Okay, let me ask you a specific pointed question. You just answered it, but I just want to just be on record because some people in the British media are claiming that a Palestinian makes less than a Jew who does the same exact job. Can you just make it clear that what's your answer to that? What's your answer to the claim that there's a pay disparity between Palestinians and Jews at the factory?
It's definitely the same because the Israeli law, it's the same for that doesn't matter who you are. If you are Palestinian or Israeli, the law is one law. That's meaning if the minimum law that we need to pay to the employee, it's 24 shekel, for example. So the Palestinian and the Israeli, it's the same because we are in the Israeli government. So the law, it's included all the employees. Doesn't matter if you are Palestinian or if you're Israeli or Jews. So it's the same.
And are there Palestinians that supervise? There are Palestinians that supervise Jews, right?
That's right. We have, for example, I have some department. We have a shift manager. Yeah, supervise. You can have their Jews. You have their Ethiopian. You have Russian.
Wow, remarkable.
No problem at all. It depends actually what you achieve. If you are good, and if you have the potential that you will be good to manage the department, so it doesn't matter who are you.
So it's based purely on merit.
Again?
It's based purely on ability.
That's right.
Okay.
If you have the ability, if you have the skills, if you have, so it's not a problem.
Okay. Barham, where are you from?
I'm actually from Rafah. I'm Arab. I'm 4 years at SodaStream. I'm actually the production manager of the SodaStream, all the assembly, the gas feeding, the valve department. I have, again, 600 people, employees, and right now I have also the responsibility about the Alon Tavor at the north. Also here we have Israeli and Arab. We have almost 230 employees here from the village here from Nazareth and the village here around it, around the area at the north. Alon Tavor, it's called in the north.
Wow. Okay, this has been fantastic. One final question. Your English is superb. Where did you get your such good English?
Oh, thank you. I'm actually, I was in Intel, and I was in 2 years of relocation in Arizona. I'm an electric engineer. I was also, yes.
Intel, Arizona.
At Intel. Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good to hear you.
Thank you. Great talking to you. Thanks so much.
Boom,
No
take
problem.
care and survive the Ramadan.
Thank you. Thanks, Daniel. Thank you. Bye-bye,
Okay.
guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.